could be something wrong with you and you don't even know it.
Don't even know it? Does this look like a man that's sick? Throw in whatever else the kids got, and that's all we own.
Well, what we really want to know is...
What the hell is an old man like you doing going on?
John Amos, the man who brought James Evans Sr. to life in Good Times, was more than just an actor. He was a cultural icon. He was tough, wise, and the father figure we all wanted. But behind the scenes and in his final years, his story became far more complicated and heartbreaking.
Don't take any of this too seriously. You know, it's not brain surgery. And enjoy the moment, because only God knows how long it's going to last.
Amos's recent passing has left fans and friends devastated. But what's even sadder is how his last moments were marked by shocking allegations and turmoil involving those closest to him. John Amos was born on December 27, 1939, in Newark, New Jersey. He grew up in East Orange, where his talent and ambition quickly became apparent. After graduating from Colorado State University, where he played college football, Amos initially had dreams of becoming a professional athlete. But destiny had other plans. After a short stint with the Denver Broncos, Amos found his way into the entertainment industry. He got his first big break in the 1970s, appearing on The Mary Tyler Moore Show. But it wasn't until he was cast as James Evans Sr. on Good Times in 1974 that Amos became a household name.
I put on a little weight.
Well, I guess when you only got one mouth to feed, it's easy to eat good, ain't it?
Audiences were drawn to the character's strength, discipline, and fierce love for his family, traits that mirrored Amos's real-life personality. But after just 3 seasons, Amos left the show, citing creative differences. He felt the show was becoming too comedic and wasn't portraying the serious struggles of black families in America. Though his exit was controversial at the time, his commitment to integrity made him even more respected.
I felt too much emphasis was being put on JJ and his chicken hat and saying dynamite every 3rd page, when just as much emphasis and mileage could have been gotten out of my other 2 children.
Amos continued to have a successful career, appearing in shows like Roots, The West Wing, and films like Coming to America. But as his acting career continued to flourish, things behind the scenes were unraveling. In 2023, shocking news surfaced that actor John Amos was accusing his own daughter, Shannon Amos, of elder abuse. At 83 years old, Amos found himself at the center of a heartbreaking family conflict that has shocked fans and the public alike. The accusation stemmed from a video shared on social media by his son, KC Amos, where John, speaking from his hospital bed, alleged that his daughter had taken advantage of him. Amos didn't mince words in the video, stating,
I had some ongoing issues with my daughter, who I feel has taken advantage of me, and she would be the primary suspect, if you would. But she's the one that I would attribute my elderly abuse to.
This bombshell accusation came shortly after Shannon had filed a complaint of her own. She claimed that her father was a victim of elder abuse, neglect, and financial exploitation. However, in her case, she wasn't pointing fingers at herself, but rather claiming that someone else had mistreated her father. This back and forth left many people confused and wondering who to believe. Shannon, in her defense, responded through her representatives, expressing how upset she was over the accusations. She called the statements made against her false and defamatory, and she made it clear she would be exploring all legal avenues to clear her name. According to Shannon, she only wanted what was best for her father and hoped the matter would soon be resolved. As John continued to speak out, he directly addressed his fans, reassuring them that he wasn't as unwell as the media had made it seem. A GoFundMe page had been set up by Shannon, claiming that John was in critical condition, fighting for his life in the ICU. In the video, however, John refuted those claims. He said he was doing well and was not in ICU. He firmly requested the GoFundMe be stopped and the money returned to those who had donated. His message was clear. While he did have some medical issues, they were being managed, and he did not need the financial help his daughter was seeking. This isn't the first time Shannon has expressed concern about her father's health. Back in early June, she took to Instagram to share a heartfelt post about the challenges her father had been facing. According to her, John had called her in May to say he was in extreme pain and hospitalized in Memphis, Tennessee. Despite being out of the country at the time, Shannon said she acted quickly to get help for him. She claimed his health was hanging by a thread and that his home had been robbed, stripped of anything valuable. To make matters worse, she accused a trusted caregiver of taking advantage of John during this vulnerable time. In her post, Shannon said she was working with authorities, including the Colorado Bureau of Investigations, to bring justice to those who had wronged her father. She even set up a GoFundMe to raise $500,000 for legal, medical, and housing expenses for John, saying that this financial support was crucial to ensure his well-being. Her words reflected a daughter's deep concern, but with John's later denials, it left many people questioning the true state of their relationship. John, however, continued to push back against Shannon's narrative. In his statement, he confirmed that while he had been hospitalized, it wasn't for the reasons his daughter had claimed. He explained that about a month prior, he had been admitted to the hospital due to water retention and other health issues. Thankfully, these problems had been addressed, and he felt confident in the medical care he was receiving. His son, KC, he noted, had assembled a trusted team of doctors and caregivers to support him during his recovery. But the real source of John's frustration seemed to be his relationship with Shannon. In the same video, he expressed that his troubles had started long before his hospital stay. According to John, he felt Shannon had been taking advantage of him for some time. The pain in his voice was palpable as he explained the strained relationship, making it clear that this wasn't just a misunderstanding but a deep rift between father and daughter. Despite all the accusations and tension, John tried to remain hopeful about his relationship with his daughter. In his final interview with People, he reflected on their bond and shared that he still loved Shannon, and that KC did too. "It is his sibling. That is my daughter, my first child. I love her. KC loves his sister. We just have, I guess, what might be best described in the tabloids as an acrimonious relationship, but everything heals in time, and the love is still there," John said. Even though things were rocky, John made it clear that he hadn't given up on his family, and he believed that eventually they could come back together. He also shared a broader perspective on family issues, saying that all families go through tough times. He expressed hope that one day his family could find peace and harmony again. "All families go through trials and tribulations of some sort. I just hope at some point we can have a harmonious relationship," John explained. He urged people not to believe everything they read or saw in the media, reminding everyone that, at the end of the day, they were still a family. "Right now it is somewhat acrimonious, but never mind what you might read or hear about in the paper or on this medium or that medium platform. Suffice it to say, we are still family and we love each other. And that's the bottom line," he emphasized. Believe it or not, this wasn't the first time John Amos's kids were at each other's throats. Just last year, KC landed himself in a New Jersey jail after his sister Shannon accused him of sending her terrifying threats. She even told the police that KC sent her a picture of a rifle, saying it can take out a turkey from 3 football fields away, making her fear for her life. This family drama goes way back, and it's really heartbreaking when you think about it. Here's a man who became an icon for playing the strong, loving father James Evans Sr. on Good Times, especially for generations of African-American viewers. But in real life, his family was falling apart. Both KC and Shannon have spent years accusing each other of all kinds of things: obsession, deceit, madness, you name it. KC, who works as a music video director, and Shannon, who turned from an entertainment executive to a medicinal healer. Both believe they're the innocent one while the other is up to no good. Their father, who's always tried to show he loves them both, hated how their personal issues had become public gossip. He once said, "Whatever we're going through is our business, not the public's." But despite that, both siblings took their fight to social media, even sharing private documents to try and prove their point. For all their differences, KC and Shannon do share one thing in common. They know the power of storytelling. John always told them if they wanted to work in Hollywood, they should go behind the scenes and make creative decisions, not act in front of the camera. And in this messy battle, both of them seem to be pitching their own version of events. Shannon sarcastically sums it up like this: 70s sitcom star in trouble when his bipolar, drug-addicted son exploits him on TikTok and his ayahuasca shaman daughter comes to the rescue. It sounds insane, but that's how she sees it. Meanwhile, KC, pulling from his father's famous role as Kunta Kinte in Roots, described his time in jail after Shannon's accusations as true false imprisonment, saying, "I became Kunta Kinte." Since last year, John Amos has been traveling across the country with his son, KC, on TikTok. KC had been sharing their adventures like a buddy comedy.
Hey, Pop. SW Philly says, day 4 of asking for your dad to please say something from Coming to America.
Son, you want to keep working here? Stay off the drugs.
But not everyone in John's personal and professional circles was laughing. Many were concerned, especially since their travels often include stops at medical facilities in different states. In October, they made their way to Los Angeles for business meetings. Journalists met them for lunch, where KC showed up in a colorful shirt and sunglasses, acting a mix of solemn and laid back. just like his TikTok persona, where he's gathered nearly 500,000 followers. Meanwhile, John, seated in a wheelchair, was his usual calm and dignified self, answering questions with sharpness. But about 30 minutes in, he started to nod off and Casey had to gently wake him. When asked about his health, John confidently replied, "I'm feeling pretty darn good for 83 years of age." However, later that month, he was admitted to Cedars-Sinai, with Casey explaining it was for fluid retention, while Shannon, his daughter, believes it was heart-related, a sign of her brother's neglect. Despite the health concerns, both father and son were adamant about how much they were enjoying their time together, bonding over their shared love for the Grateful Dead and working on a documentary about John's life called America's Dad, which Casey is directing. They were even planning to buy a house in Jamaica where John hoped to relax, though he made it clear he wasn't done acting yet. "I'm not going to sit around watching waves all day when there are still stories to tell," John said. Casey and John also brushed off the criticism about their TikTok videos, which some people thought were cheapening John's reputation. For them, it was just fun. They made skits based on the Three Stooges and lip-synced to classic hits like McFadden and Whitehead's Ain't No Stoppin' Us Now. Casey was also quick to point out the perks of being an influencer. "Someone even sent us a $1,700 walker," he said, adding they'd been offered luxury jacuzzis and lounge chairs too. One thing they agreed on was their stance on Shannon. Casey said she'd been a bully to him since childhood but refused to go into more detail. John chalked it up to sibling rivalry, expressing that he loved his daughter but believed she might be handling things the wrong way. Anyway, despite all the family drama, one of the most touching aspects of John's final years was the work he had been doing on a new docuseries, America's Dad, which was set to explore his life and the impact he had on so many people. His son Casey shared that the title of the series wasn't just a catchy phrase. It truly reflected how people felt about John. For many who grew up watching him on Good Times, John Amos was more than just an actor. He was a father figure. Casey recalled how people from all walks of life, from bikers with long ZZ Top beards to everyday fans, would approach him and express how much his father meant to them. "Your father was my father, man," they'd say, asking for a handshake or a hug. This deep connection that people felt to John's TV characters, particularly James Evans from Good Times, was a testament to the powerful presence he had on screen. John portrayed strength, love, and resilience, and for many fans, he became the father figure they needed. Even though John's final years were clouded by personal struggles and public drama, his legacy as America's dad remained untouched. His impact on television and the way he touched people's lives couldn't be overshadowed by the controversy surrounding his family. John Amos died on August 21st in Los Angeles of natural causes. He died at the age of 84. His son, Casey, released a statement saying, "It is with heartfelt sadness that I share with you that my father has transitioned. He was a man with the kindest heart and a heart of gold, and he was loved the world over. Many fans consider him their TV father. He lived a good life. His legacy will live on in his outstanding works in television and film as an actor. My father loved working as an actor throughout his entire life, most recently in Suits LA playing himself and our documentary about his life journey as an actor, America's Dad. He was my dad, my best friend, and my hero. Thank you for your prayers and support at this time." As news of John's death spread, Hollywood stars, fans, and fellow actors were quick to express their sadness and shock. Twitter was flooded with tributes, from old clips of John in Good Times to heartfelt messages from former co-stars. The overwhelming outpouring of love confirmed just how deeply he had impacted his fans, but it also led many to reflect on the pain he had endured in his final years. Now, with John Amos gone, the focus has shifted to what happens next. His children, Shannon and Casey, are likely to continue their feud, with legal battles over his estate already looming. The public is left wondering, will Amos's memory be honored, or will the drama overshadow his incredible contributions to television and film? Despite the tragedy surrounding his final years, John Amos will always be remembered as the strong, loving father figure from Good Times and the powerful Kunta Kinte from Roots. He gave us characters who showed resilience in the face of adversity, just as he did in real life. As fans, it's up to us to keep his legacy alive, focusing on the man who broke barriers and made history rather than the heartbreaking personal struggles that consumed his final days. Anyway, that's it for this video, folks. Bye.